What's up, guys? This is Austin Gaw here with GGOFFROAD.com. Today, I've got an exciting video for you. I'm here with this 2024 Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter Edition. I'm going to be installing our digital rear view camera relocation kit. And in addition, I'm launching a new product. Whether you have a slide-in camper, a swing-out tire carrier, or you blocked your tailgate camera, the reverse camera that's in the tailgate, whether you blocked that for any reason, I finally have the cable to relocate that camera for you. So let's get into it. All right, so here underneath the truck, right next to your spare tire, there's this gray connector. This is your backup camera connector. You're gonna disconnect this one. This one goes to the factory tailgate. You're gonna simply connect our relocation kit. And now you have a 9-foot, 5-inch cable to run your camera wherever you need. This is the other end that connects to the camera. The factory camera looks like this. Once you get it out of the tailgate, you're simply going to connect them together. All right, let's go over what you get with the digital rear view camera relocation kit from GG Off-Road. You'll get two 23-foot cables. These are long enough to connect to the connectors in the headliner, run down the C-pillar, under the truck, along the frame, and then up into your camper for whatever your installation may be. You'll also get a mount. We have a lot of different mounts on the website. Check them out at GGOFFROAD.com. There's pictures of each one. We'll also go over each mount at the end of this video. Finally, you'll get some grommets that will allow you to close out the holes left behind by the camera modules. When you remove those, you don't want water getting in, so just some 3D printed grommets to close them up.
Let's go over the tools we need for this install. We're going to need a deep 10mm socket to take the brake light assembly off. The smallest ratchet you have, or if you don't have one, I highly recommend getting one because you're going to be working in the headliner, tight space. So small ratchet. I used a extension underneath the truck when I was doing the grommet. You'll see that later in this video. You need a Torx 6, a T6 Torx to take the cameras out of their harness. Of their bracket. You need a T30, Torx 30. This is a security bit. You don't need the security bit, but a Torx 30. That's what the fasteners in the bed where the AC panel is. So if you want to take those, if you're routing your wires through that, you'll need this. You do need a T20 to get the cameras out of the back of the brake light assembly. So Torx 20. If you're doing the external kit from GG Off-Road, then you a 3/32 hex driver, or just a Allen key hex 3/32. You're going to want a panel tool. I used both of these. This one's helpful to grab these clips, since those sometimes get left behind in the trim when you pull them off. Zip ties and side cutters to cut those flush when you were routing wires. Needle nose pliers to poke up through the grommet, grab the connector and pull it down, fish it down through the waterproof grommet under the truck. You'll see that in the next steps of the video. For the Tacoma, some butyl rubber tape. I'll link all of these. I'll link the important things in the description of the video. Some good electrical tape. I have white here, but some Scotch 33. That's the good stuff. A lighter to shrink some heat shrink down, and that's it. Oh, and this is the clips that are used on all the trim you're going to be removing today. So if you're worried about bending or breaking clips and you want to order some to have some on spare, these are the clips you'll need from Toyota.
The first thing we're going to do is drop the headliner just in the back area. That's going to allow us to get to the 3 nuts that are holding this brake light assembly on. So we're going to take the brake light assembly off, remove the camera modules. We're going to connect our new harnesses, relocation harnesses. Then we're going to test the cameras before we route them all. But once those cameras are tested and working, We're then going to route the relocation kit down here along the C-pillar. We're gonna go under this seat. There's a grommet that has existing wiring running through it. We're gonna go through that grommet, along the frame, and then back up into the camper. After that, we just put the cameras in the mount, whichever mount you choose on the website, and you're done. So the first step is to remove these hangers that are on the back of the headliner. I like to use a little hook pick. You can also use like a panel tool like this. But just coming from the side, there's a tiny little gap, and you're just really gonna gently pull. This piece comes off. We're gonna do the same on the other side. We're gonna remove this clip. So basically you just pull, push, pinch these together, pair of needle nose. Sometimes that comes off separate. Again, you just clip these together and you'll be able to remove this clip. So once you have that clip removed, you can see the headline is already loosening up a bit. Now we're just gonna pull the C-pillar trim off on both sides. So to pull this C-pillar trim, you can use a panel tool. Again, there's just a few clips up and down this pillar. Be careful if you have the white headliner, wear gloves so that you don't get fingerprints on it. Same with the black one, wash your hands, clean hands. Basically, you're gonna get behind it with your fingers and you can just gently pop those clips off, just like that. So we're gonna walk down. It might even be enough, let's see. Okay. I'm gonna stop there. That looks to me like it's enough space to get this headliner dropped. Let me go do the other side. On the other side now, same exact procedure. Just get a panel tool behind it, and then we're just gonna very gently pop. There's 3 clips down here. Okay, just like that. Now we're gonna take the headliner down. So we're gonna be careful not to pull so much that it's gonna crease up here. We really only need to get our hand back here in a small micro ratchet. I'll show you that in the next step. If you have the sliding rear glass option, there's this lip up here that's holding the headliner. So you're gonna take a panel tool, and we have to basically get the end of this over this. So we just need to pull it out really gently. Be really careful not to overdo it so you don't crease anything. These little small creases though, they will go away. So just pull the rest out, little by little, just like this. Okay, I'm also actually going to pull the dome light, so that might help a little bit. For this, you can basically just push it in one direction, pull it on that side, and then pull out on the other side. You're trying to free these little clips, basically. So am I going to disconnect that? I think I'm going to disconnect it. So just a little tab right here. We're going to pop this panel off, just these clips on this side of it, and then actually this bottom piece is clipped into this top piece, so we need to pull just the very beginning of this part off. So starting with this, I just like to use my hands whenever possible. It looks like I need the panel tool though. There we go. All right. Now I can feel that there's a clip right here, and it's no longer in this C-pillar trim. So that's as far as I need to go there. Let's see on this guy, if you hold back the weather seal, we're just gonna pull straight out, gently. Felt most of the clip give right there. There we go. Okay, so those 2 clips just came out. Actually, 1 clip. Let's get the second one undone. There we go. Now that those are all dislodged, we can gently, along with this, we can gently pull that trim. So now that we have this hanging, we now have tons of room in here. We did the same on the other side. We have gotten this back around the sliding window lip that was up on top. So now all that's left is to just gently drop it down. So it helps if you have a buddy on that side, pull a little bit over there. So let's get a better look at those bolts that we'll be undoing here. Yeah, you can see right here, number 10 and then another one on the right. Now you have this brown connector and the gray connector. These are the two camera modules. We will disconnect those here in a minute, but first we're going to take off those two bolts and get the brake light out. And again, just try not to pull the headliner down too much. So we've removed these two bolts. It turns out on the 24 Tacoma there's actually two more bolts. This whole spoiler comes out. Two more 10mm nuts that need to come out from the inside. So we're going to remove this whole spoiler. There are little tabs here. Be really careful, and you should just be with your fingers able to pop. There's also 4 plastic clips in addition to the 4 bolts. So you're going to pop those out, and then you're going to just gently pull the whole spoiler assembly. So as you can see, we have the harness that comes from the truck. We have the brake lights, and then we have the 2 camera modules. I'm going to use a pick to just pull that pin right there. Pull that pin and then wiggle that out. That's 1. 2. So this whole harness, we now need to take the brake light out as well. And then it's also taped around this little plastic tab. So I'm going to pull that plastic tab out. We freed that up. And then we are going to pull the actual lights. So again, there's actually this whole thing is a tab. Just like that. Okay. And again, we have one more plastic tape. There we go. The next step is to disconnect all 3 of these connectors. What we're going to do is we're going to take this whole harness and we're going to pull it through the truck that way. That way we can untape it, re-tape it without these connectors in there. And then we're going to put our relocation kit cables into these 2 plugs. We're just going to squeeze this grommet, pull the whole thing through. We'll take this over to the workbench and we will delume this and then relume it. Start with the T20, and it's just the 2 torch fasteners here on the spoiler. There's 1. And there's 2. So we've removed these 2 T20 Torx fasteners. There's 2 additional ones behind these white clips. So I'm going to pop those out real quick. And now we can get access to this one. Third fastener's out. Now we can just wiggle this camera mount free. So we don't need this bracket anymore. In the relocation, we're not going to use that. We do need to get these cameras free from this bracket. That's a T6 screwdriver you're gonna need. The next step is to delume this harness. So these 2 camera cables, we need to grab those, and we're gonna leave behind the brake light cable because this brake light needs to still operate when we put the spoiler back on the truck. In order to tape it back up, you're going to want some good 3M electrical tape and some Tessa tape. Tessa tape is this same tape that Toyota uses here. It's automotive high temperature, high abrasion resistance tape that is used in wire harnesses. So let's get started. We're going to cut this tape and we'll retape it after. bit. One of two is free. All right. So now the grommet is only around the brake lights. Just cut this right here. We'll retape that. Pull these guys out. We'll put this back in the truck. But basically we just want to take up this space here. So just like Toyota did, we are just going to wrap it. Pull it back, I'm gonna squish this down nice so that it gets in between those wires, keeps it nice and waterproof. And then we're just gonna pull it in. Push it in a little bit. All right, squish it in there. All right, that looks good to me. All right, let's try it out. We got our cable missing that ridge. It goes in tab side toward the compartment, passenger compartment. You're gonna push this in until you hear that nice click. All right, we are going to test this long extension cable straight to the camera before routing it. Hear that click? Let's go ahead and connect this extension harness to the factory camera harness that was behind the spoiler. This is the bed view camera. Can you read that? All right, bed view cam. Simply click that in. All right, there we go. We're all set to test this one. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing with the digital rear view camera module. Like that. All right. Simply ensure that this is plugged in all the way. Click. This guy only goes one way. Boom. All right, let's test it. What's up, guys? Here we are. The plan now is to route them from up in the headliner where they're going. We're gonna go passenger side down this C-pillar. This trim's already off from step one. We're gonna go all the way down. So I've zip tied these cables to that back wire. I'll cut the tag ends of those zip ties in a second. I just wanna make it really clear, when you are routing these two cables, these GG off-road cables, up and over to those connectors in the headliner. Sorry, need some white. Up and over to those connectors, you want to follow this factory harness because this is the side curtain airbag. You do not want to go in between the side curtain airbag and the cab. So we're gonna go on the cab side where the factory wire is. You see that loom of wire right there? We're gonna zip tie up to that. So once you're through this C-pillar, basically there's a grommet under this seat. We're gonna pull just this outermost piece of trim We're gonna have to pull this piece of trim, and then we may or may not have to pull this. I usually just like to use a fish or a small coat hanger to fish a string first, and then I'll pull the rest of the wire. So let's go ahead and start unclipping. If you have a hybrid Tacoma, you're gonna have to get these back seats, the benches, to fold up on you. You're gonna have to pull these 3 clips here. And this style clip, you basically just need to pop it out like that. You pop out the middle piece and then you pull the whole thing out. So once the seat is up, I'm gonna use a standard electrical fish for this, like a coat hanger or something would also, welding rod would also work. I just taped like a 5-foot piece of wire to it, just spare string or something that you have. We're gonna try and fish it down through this gap in the panel here, and then I'm gonna try and pick it back up down here near the grommet. I'm gonna fish this down near the factory, along the factory wiring. Okay, I can see the light, so yep, I can see my tape down here. Okay, here we go. So now I have my fish tape from all the way down in the second part of the C-pillar into this cavity. Okay, you can see that grommet right there. As you can see, all of this whole bundle goes into that big grommet down behind the passenger rear seat. That's the same grommet we're gonna use to get outside the truck on both these 2 cables. So now you take your tag end of your string, or wire in my case, and we are gonna get both of these taped. Well, actually we're gonna just do one, and then we're gonna use the other one to pull the third down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tape this guy to my wire. All right, once we're through here, we are basically going to tape the other camera about, a foot up on the other cable. We're gonna use the first cable to pull the other cable through. So just tape them together like this, and we'll try and do that now. So this is the end that's going down to under the seat. I'm going to tape the second camera cable to the first, and then gently use this to pull through. Be really careful pulling too hard on these. Like I said earlier, if you pull too hard, you can untwist the twisted pairs or break the wires inside these, and you'll have flickering screen issues, or it won't work at all. So just be gentle with these cables. They're really solid once installed, but just don't abuse them. Go ahead and tape it together. And fantastic. Now we have both camera cables routed here. As you can see, these are the 2 ends. I'm going to cut off our sacrificial piece of string that we use to fish it down. I'm here under the truck now. This is the same grommet we were looking at from above. I'm right in front of the right rear tire. I like to pull this whole grommet down. It just gives me like a couple inches of slack that allows me to cut it more precisely and make it a more waterproof joint. All right, so now you can tell we can pull this down a tiny bit. I can slip this metal plate down a little bit temporarily, so you can see exactly what we're working with here. That's inside into the bed, under the seat. Okay, we're gonna make a tiny incision right in this part of the boot, right here. Just 1/2 centimeter, tiny. You want to start small because the needle nose pliers will stretch it out slightly, and you don't want too big of a hole. Again, we want this to be as waterproof as possible, and we'll seal it again after. This is our second cable. Now I'm just going to tape these together, and we're going to gently pull on the bottom one and push from the top at the same time. We've got our cables now fully taut through the cab, and now it's time to route them along the frame. We're going to follow this factory loom for a while. I like to put them on top and then zip tie every 10 or 16 inches probably. I'll show you what to do with the excess. So for now, keep this fairly tight, but don't pull it too tight, and make sure everything you allow room for it to expand and contract with different temperatures. Not that it will very much, but it's good practice. Now over here above the rear tire, you can actually see the whole frame, and you can see that harness that we are zip tying to. So I've already done from the grommet to this point. We're gonna keep it along this main big harness all along the frame. Looks like somebody's already zip tied something here, and it's pretty sharp. We'll cut those off while we're at it, clean that up. Once we get to this point, I'll coil the excess and we'll come out through the AC port in this truck. If yours doesn't have that, I'll show you once we're up there what you can do. Back here now, this is where I've routed these cables to, and this is where I like to put the excess right up under here. I've followed this factory harness all the way from that grommet, keeping these nice and straight, making sure there's no kinks, giving it a little bit of slack in between zip ties just to expand and contract, move a little, you know. You don't want that super tight. Let me go ahead and get the zip tie tightened down. And we'll coil up this wire. I'll cut that zip tie in a second. I decided I'm going to pull all this wire into the bed for now, so I'll show you how to do that now. Here we are in the bed now. Since this is the Trail Hunter, I'm not sure which trims have this or not, but they're usually on most trucks I go through here. I'll loosen these, depending on which side the wires are going, typically toward the back, towards the glass. I will do a step bit here and get a grommet, just a rubber grommet the right size, and I'll come out sometimes here. You can come out the corners as well. This Trail Hunter has this nice cubby where you have your air hose. It's pretty. That's pretty snazzy. Anyways, this cubby also has these drain holes here, here, and here. I am going to enlarge the side drain hole, and we'll just poke it straight through here. Let's get the spoiler now finished up. These are the holes left behind by the cameras. As you can see, there's a gap here. The original cameras aren't watertight either. So the idea is water is able to drip out this bottom gap. Now your kit's gonna come with a little bag, QR code for with a link to the instructions in this video. Some B7000 glue, which is a semi-removable, kind of like a shoe glue. And then 2 grommets. These grommets are custom for the Tacoma. It's going to allow us to close this out. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and install those now. Open up that glue. Now you don't want to overdo this. This one's asymmetrical, as you can see, just the way that the back of this is. It's also asymmetric, so try to pick that up. This one, standard. So we're gonna just drip a tiny bit of glue just along the edge, the bottom edge. You don't want it on this face or you'll see it. Okay, now I'm gonna carefully insert this into the hole. These are a slight press fit, so they'll stay on their own without the glue, but the glue is going to ensure that they stay in when you wash the car, or So we have these grommets in place now. All that's left on this light fixture is to put the old bracket back in place. Otherwise you might lose this, so we're just gonna put it back without the cameras in and reinstall the 3 T20 fasteners here. First, let's get this grommet and brake light cable put back in. This side is the inside cab side. Don't forget to go around and plug this in. Okay, let's put this back on the truck. Make sure all of your bolts and clips are slid fully in their slot. They can walk themselves out. We're gonna clip this back in. Think of that. It's brake light. Now I'm gonna push gently to get those clips engaged. We've connected the brake light. We've closed out these camera holes. The clips are engaged. Everything looks like it's seated nicely. Everything feels like it's seated nicely. We're gonna go back into the cabin and reinstall those 4 10mm nuts and connect the brake light, and then we'll finish up this install. Here we are reinstalling the headliner. So we gotta go back up over this lip and just be gentle. Work it back up. Okay, you can kind of feel when the clips are in their holes but not pushed in yet. That's when you know you're okay to push. Otherwise you'll bend the clips. So I'm gonna do this first, then I'm gonna clip this in, then that guy. Nice. That went in perfectly. I'll just make sure that's back over. Okay. Now this piece clips into this piece. These red clips here. Just like that. Alright, just like that, that's in place, and now that and that clip. To put in the dome light, reconnect the electrical first. We're gonna go in and then that way. Finally, we're just gonna reinstall these hangers in the back. So you have this clip, and then you have the 2 plastic pieces that we removed in step 1. So push firmly to push the headliner against the truck. Squeeze that clip, push it in, and don't tug on it yet. Part of what makes that clip work is this trim piece needs to expand that clip. So put that in before testing it. Yep, there you go. And just repeat, and we're done. So here we have all of our mounting options. Right here in front of me is our pivot arm mount. This is really designed for fiberglass campers and to be mounted to the roof. So if you imagine the camper here, you mount it to the roof, and then this holds the rear view module. Sorry. This holds the rear view module looking back through the rear glass. And then this one is designed to hold the cargo module, and that'll look back into the bed, similar to how it is stock. This also works for ARE campers like the Z2 and any of the metal campers. If you take this arm off and then you mount this straight above the window, it tends to work out pretty well for those campers. Over here, you can see our external mounts. These are amazing for any sort of bed rack, or if you have a roof rack on top of your camper. Really any sort of mount
on top of the camper that you can connect this to. This works externally to the vehicle, so it keeps water off the camera modules, protects them from theft, etc. This is one of the better mounts that I like. I really like to run this on my vehicle. When you do an external mount, the kit will come with this waterproof heat shrink. So this has an adhesive in it that heats up and seals when it gets shrunk down. It's important and necessary that you connect these and you shrink over it when these are outside the truck, because this here is not a waterproof connection. So if you are going to use these options and this connector is outside your truck, make sure you use the heat shrink that's included. Finally, we have the suction cup varieties. These, the cargo camera suction cup is articulating, so you can really mount it essentially wherever you want and point it at whatever you want. There's a lot of options here. On the digital rear view, right now I have the Tundra module in here, but it fits the Tacoma module just the same. This one is designed to be mounted on the rear glass, and then it'll look down through the rear glass. You can mount it up if you want to change your angle, or down. Additionally, you can change the angle. So this is a really good option even for fiberglass campers. It's nice and sturdy if you don't want to screw any holes into your topper. Highly recommend the suction cup mounts and the external mounts as well. So for this customer, we are going to go ahead, since he does not have his topper on yet, we're going to go ahead and do the external mounts. So let me show you how to do those, how to throw the camera modules in there real quick. These have 3/32 hex screws in the rear, so they come pre-installed loose. You're just gonna back them out fully. As you can see, there's some nice heat set inserts in there, and then this is designed to fit this camera module exactly. So there's a Tacoma version, it says Tacoma on it, and there's a Tundra version as well. So this will eventually be flush if you get it. You want to make sure that this O-ring here is sealed nice into that channel. Another thing I like to do is the screws that held it into the bracket. You can either take them out and store them somewhere safe, or just screw them in till they're tight. They won't go anywhere. They fit in this mount. So let me just get that inserted. All right, once it's fully inserted, you'll see on the Tacoma one, it sticks through. The Tundra one, it doesn't stick all the way through. I wanted to make this a little more compact, so I have the lens protruding a little bit. All right, so it looks like this. We are going to put on the back plate. Your back plate is directional, so that your wire has a nice seal in there. We're just gonna tighten these up. All right, so that is the digital rear view. We'll do the same for the cargo camera. The cargo camera is the exact same for both Tacoma and Tundra. I believe the camera module is even the same part number, so let's go ahead and get these loosened out. Similar to before, we have heat set inserts. Those are nice brass inserts. They won't rust or corrode. The hardware that's included is stainless steel, 3/32. It won't corrode either. Make sure your cameras are fully clipped in. Forgot, on this one, you do need to remove these factory T6 screws. Be sure not to lose these in case you ever wanted to go back to factory for any reason. Maybe if you sell your truck or something. And then we'll just tighten these up. Now that we have the cameras in their external mounts, we're just going to connect them up. If this were the final install, I would slip this heat shrink over, connect them up, don't shrink it down yet, connect them up, test them, mount them where you want them in your final position, and then shrink them down. This is not permanent yet. The customer doesn't even have his camper on yet, so I'm not gonna bother with the heat shrink at this time. We're not gonna run these outside. Well, I'll slip it over just in case he decides to leave it on longer than he is thinking right now. So you're gonna slip the heat shrink on. It can either go over this side or it can go over this side first. I think it's actually easier to put it on my cables. It's a little tricky to get through. Beautiful. Okay, so in our earlier step, I marked with some white tape, I marked the DRV camera. So it is important that you connect these cameras correctly. First of all, you can't mix, even if you connected the camera to the right cable, you also need to match the correct harness. These harnesses could be swapped. You don't want to do that. It doesn't hurt anything, but you won't get a video of it. So we're just going to connect this up until it clicks. We'll slide our heat shrink back over. I'm not going to shrink it down until I test it and until these are in the final position on the camper. I forgot to mention, these external mounts come with shims. So everyone's mounting position is slightly different. These are 5-degree shims, so they'll change the angle by 5 degrees. You could flip them if you wanted it to go up. If you needed more than that, you could create any sort of shim out of material that you have on hand. That's done. This one's done. We're going to do the same on this side for the cargo camera. Make sure it clicks. Slide our heat shrink until they're in the middle. Okay. Now I have our 2 camera modules. Let's go ahead and test them out. Jump in the driver's seat. All right, hopping in the driver's seat now. I don't have the truck on, it's in accessory. You can see the digital rear view is working. It's not fully adjusted yet. Obviously there's no camper on this vehicle yet. But yeah, that looks really good. Comes right back, no flickering, nothing like that. We have to put this into neutral to see the other camera. So neutral, let's check out the bed view. Right now I have it upside down, but I'll flip it when we mount the final thing. And we haven't decided exactly how we're mounting it quite yet, but this looks good. No flicker on the bed camera, nice and clear picture. Yeah, job done.